Hey, good night, good afternoon. This is Sean Fuller. I'm a web developer, been programming for over a decade now, and welcome to a new series I call AI coding, where I'll be using Cursor AI to actually build full SaaS products. And this is my first project I'm going to be building on it for that intention purposes. So let me start showing you what I've planned, and let's get into it. So the project I'm working to build right now is an AI project called Comic Book Back. I'm a comic book creator and I like building comics. What I want to do is build a SaaS product that allows me to figure out how the best way to monetize those comics. And so what it's supposed to do is take the information about my comic, be it an upload of the script or of the images of the comic, assess that comic, and then using AI generated using AI algorithms as well as data services, because I'll be using data as well. Figure out what's the best way to market it, and then build a feedback loop for that comic to see if what we suggested actually worked. And so the goal for this is to help comic book artists and similar fiction authors build monetization strategies for their comics. So with that said, let's get started and see how far we can get with this. All right, so right now I currently have the skeleton up of the project. So I did build a few stuff out already with the AI services. Um, but for right now, um, let's get started again. So so this is a prompt that I created. Um, and so now it's taking the prompt, taking everything that it already has about the project, and now it's building all these things that's already there. Okay, so it's looking about what it already has, upgrading projects that it needs to do, all this stuff. And the benefit of using this AI stuff, a lot of these projects and a lot of stuff we'd have to do ourselves as developers. But now this kind of takes a lot of stuff out of it. However, the reason why I'm using it in this services because it take a lot of the manual stuff out the way, but it does still give me access to the code base, anything that's being changed, anything that's being worked on. I can look at it. I can see the code. I can see what files it's working on, what pages it's working on. I can see what it's doing there. I can actually go over there and okay the project file. So as a developer, it gives me the opportunity to actually do what I'm used to doing, which is assess and edit code. And then from that perspective, I can then um, edit and create features and functionalities that would normally take months to create into weeks. So in this application, I'm using AI, but I'm also using data as a service, and I'm also making pizza services. So these are multiple different complex projects that I'm going to integrate in this one project. So now we get to see how that works. And as you see right now, it's building that entire module from the and each of these pages that is built. Um, the part that you didn't get to see was the actual creating of the infrastructure. So if anyone that remembers setting up a the first time they set up an application site, well, same thing here. The benefit what I found with Cursor AI was the fact that it allowed me to go into the terminal panel, actually figure out what modules or what systems were not properly installed. For example, I had an issue with Tailwind configuration, which we were to troubleshoot. And the benefit of it is that a lot of stuff that I would have to Google what's going on here and how to figure it out. It went through all these troubleshooting methods, and then I'll be like, all right, cool. At least I didn't waste my time trying to do those troubleshooting methods to see that they did not work. All right, so as you can see, this thing has been working for a minute now. It's building the entire app. Um, so back to the prompt engine. So what I've learned to do is using Chat GPT. I would normally come up with the concept of what I'm trying to build, and then from it ask it to build the actual prompt that can be used in a different application like this. The benefit of doing it is knows how to segment the code. Instead of being one big blob, it breaks it down. So this is my navigation, this is the features and functionalities, these are different color codes. All these things are now put into the app without me having to tell it or being asked for it, because I actually just fine tune the Apple actual prompt before I even submitted it. This makes it very I find that when you're dealing with AI tools, the more explicit you can be, the better the results you get. And so right now, see, it's taking its time building all these things. It's building every single page because it knows what it needs to build. And so, and as I said, I've been working on this prompt for a while now, so it kind of makes sure everything's going out right. So what we're currently waiting for is to kind of see everything that it's built, all the errors that it's getting. What we're also waiting for is the files that needs updated and delivered. I'm also waiting to see not just the navigation, but what it actually produces. Um, since I spent a lot of time beforehand, kind of removing the obstacles in what I will call it the infrastructure setup, like setting up the workflow stuff like that. I'm just looking to see what it builds, and then hopefully it gets us really far into the gutter right now. Because as I said, I spent a lot of time with this prompt thus far. Hmm. This is one of those times where I wish I was like one of those persons that talks far ahead and just drop. I made some tea or something to just drink while I watch this thing do all the work that I'm used to doing. Um, hold on for a second. Hold on for so right now. Ooh, and don't I understand? And also I've been using other tools. So what I'll be trying to do in this series is not only just show how to build with this tool, but I'll also show the difference between using other tools. For example, Riplet, a great tool that I use for testing out other projects. It does a really good job in kind of capturing um, kind of the first assumptions that you have, and it does a good job. There's something you don't even want to mess with what it already made. So what I am trying to do now is trying to compare other AI tools with actually building projects that I actually intend to put in production. So these are not applications that are just here for like test projects. So this is not a clone application. We're not going to be cloning anything during this series. We actually be going to come up with business thoughts or ideas that some of them I've had for a few years now. So it's um, and then actually seeing AI scale those applications. I know a lot of people are looking to AI right now because it gives an opportunity to kind of build out the app that they always wanted to build but never had the opportunity to build. And what I intend to do is do the same thing. So even as a developer, you don't really have the time to kind of sit down and put the monstrous effort that needs to go to. What I can do now is take what I'm good at as a developer, as an assistant developer, figure out the system I want to have, figure out the tools, the connections, the architecture of the application I'm looking at, and then have this application build it. And then I can see where I may or may not have figured out everything. So this is just the first part. So right now, what we're trying to get to is just a run build with everything bells and whistles there. There's going to be a few stuff I know this is going to ask me to do. For example, setting up the data as a service layer. Um, the GitHub layers, and these are other stuff that I would do probably after this video is up and ended, to make sure that those connections are just kept private and stuff like that. But I did want to make sure I was able to show just how effective this is and just taking a concept and just making it something that you can actually play around with. As I said, I've been playing with this application for a while now, but at the same time, it's my first time actually putting it through its paces. So I'm looking forward to see what it comes up with. So right now, this application does have a few pages outside of the app. So it's building like I call it the outside of the application. I'm not sure if it started with the dashboard yet or the submission format. I think that's where it started, and it's now doing the other pages on the back end. So if based on if those features and functionalities are built, I should be able to either test the login feature and see if I have access to those features, or I'll just see where we at. So looking forward to see where this goes. Today's fortune cookie. Let's see what kind of good luck I get. Let's see, what's my fortune today? Okay. It says find joy in the journey rather than just in the destination. That's kind of very good for the actual stuff what we're doing today. It's like the fun stuff of actually learning how to develop with AI, coming from a background as a developer, is like a lot of stuff I'm seeing it even doing right now. It would have took me like a day or two just for any single page. And if I feel fortunate, I might get a few pages done if they're similar. Today, I'm just looking at this thing duck out everything in a few hours, in no, a few minutes actually. So, um, knowing what I've experienced thus far, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be spending a lot of time QA in this application because sometimes it thinks it did a good job and I have to actually do a lot of troubleshooting and actually debugging the application, which I spend a lot of time thus far doing. So it's not perfect, but it does do a good job. And so, I'm just looking forward to it. That's a great fortune for today. I'm going to enjoy the journey of building this application. It's funny because I've built a few applications that I want to build. Some of them have similar concepts, but this one really kind of took me to the system level, and I'm just like, okay, all right. So now it's after 12 minutes, almost 13 minutes. Now it's ready to actually run the application. So let's get at it. So let's me go. All right, what does it says? Now let's me test the application and run it. Huh. Okay, so it's run into a few issues. Expected. So what he's saying right now is that he's missing certain animation properties. So now it's just working on bringing those in and actually rebuilding the application. As I said, been working on this a few times. He actually runs into those issues a few times. No, no different than as a developer when you're working on something and realize you're missing something, and you just have to restart everything and figure it out. the mere fact that you can do all this troubleshooting in this short period of time is the benefit of AI. Because this is not something we've worked on like for a week or two, and then we just said, all right, let's build and let's run to our issue. Something we took minutes to figure out. And so we can spend most of our time making sure we debug the application and do QA, and we actually spend on the actual building of the application. All right, it's rebuilding again. Uh, if life was easy, everything would be. Is that local storage is not available during server side rendering? I need to fix it. Now, I can see as a developer, one of the biggest issue I'm going to run into as I develop applications this way is kind of going back over what was done and kind of verifying if all the stuff that we want to get done or all the features get done is done. So as I said, a lot of QA is going to be relevant to these applications. So I would say a QA NGA is going to find themselves very, very elongated with work with as more people try to build applications using these methods, because it's not just did it build it and did it work, but did it introduce but did it actually get all the features in place? Did it get all the vulnerabilities out? Um, there's so much stuff that a QA person probably is going to spend time with this new stuff with AI just to make sure that it's actually accomplished what they want to do. And I think AI is going to also be down drifted to more the people that actually have to build this stuff within those teams. On the team level, especially if they're going to use AI to build stuff, simply because even if it built the image, did it accomplish the goal? Did it meet the design aesthetic of the office? It take you a while to train the AI to get it to that point where you don't need that person, but eventually you will. So, all right. So now it's telling me everything that is done. It's also telling me next steps. So right now it's letting let me know it's all the routing pages are done, all the multi-step upload is done, the analysis, enrichment, and feedback loop are presented in the UI. So they're not built yet. So the AI integrations, the DAS services, and the feedback loop, which includes the pixel features, they're not built into the backend service yet, but they're there for purposes of the UI representation. So that's include the freedom logic, which is basically when someone first comes up is there. Local storage usage is now browser safe. Good for that. Build now complete and successful. So now what they want me to do is do a run the server and see. I should do this over here. My bad. Uh-huh. Uh, yes. No. I just want to follow link. All right. So Hold on a second. Okay. Uh, where is it? 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 Uh, there we go. All right. So right now we wrap it. We've just wrapped up this build. Now we're going to show the results of what it built. All right. Give me 1 second while I do that. Just need to find. So right now you should be seeing the first draft of what it did for the application. Nothing designed because I haven't given a lot of design. What it did figure out how to present this stuff. All right, cool. This is good. I just want to see now for the login mechanism. It also gave me the developer credentials for the demo. Great, right on the front page. So this is all local, so I'm not worried about it. It's loading the page. Well, I kind of see that the first thing I have to go troubleshoot going forward is kind of like the timeline between loading up the page. Uh, but we'll see if it keeps hanging like okay, signing in. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, this is taking a little bit longer than I expected. Um, but as I said, we're building this live, so this is what you expect to get into. Uh, Never. All right, cool. Well, we right. So what I'm doing right now is establishing how it actually went about building the different pages. New creator. So it kind of understands the different demographics of the art. Okay, how it works. Upload comic pages. Oh, so and then it goes in. So right now it does do a good job of kind of rendering the starter pages. It does did a good job of helping me figure out the page. I know what's left for me to do now is kind of cleaning up this entire application. Now, I would say this: if I would did this with Reddit, Replit, would have probably did a much cleaner in terms of design, aesthetic, but it wouldn't have given me the same level of code control that I currently have, which is great for what my daily uses are. So what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna end the broadcast today at this point. Kind of showed a lot of stuff for this application, and then what I would do again in my next broadcast is kind of show a cleaned up version of the AI run with the back end tools integrated. And then from that point, we can then see how this application actually would function with a actual use case being represented, because it does show us a use case. So we show our use case being represented on the application. And so that's going to be the final port of this version. And then we'll do this again with a completely different ID and a completely different app. This is all for the purposes of this testing out how fast AI now allows us to not just conceptual a project, but actually launch it. And we think this is going to be a great opportunity for IT professionals to and people with SaaS mindsets. I think SaaS engineers or SaaS people who want to build SaaS projects are going to benefit the most from this, because it gives them a low barrier for entry to get into the actual place of building this application. I look forward to seeing where this project is finished, and join me for the ride if you enjoy the rest of it. Thank you for everything you have done. Please enjoy the rest of this. Thanks.